Hello there, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of So You Want to Be an Authortuber with me, Jenna O'Malley, your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. This is the first freebie course in what will eventually become Soul Bard Academy. If you would like to learn more about Soul Bard Academy or the other episodes, the workbook, and the slides to this course, please do check the description box links below. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to dive straight on into Chapter 2. Did you do last week's homework? If not, you might want to pause and finish it because you might want it from here on out. Each module will build a little bit on the previous, so you're going to want to make sure you have the groundwork all done. Otherwise, let's get started. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Chapter 2, Building Your Quest, YouTube's plethora of options and styles. And I do very well mean that there are indeed a ton of different ways to lay out your channel and plan for it ahead of time. So as we know, there's a ton of different types of things you can do for not just channels entirely, but different types of videos on your channel. Some channels will strictly only do lives, will strictly only do videos, will strictly only do shorts, or maybe they're doing sprints comboed with vlogging, comboed with workshops. Like me, I tend to do a little bit of everything so long as it serves my mission and my vision. Are you allowed to sprint with all the different things you could do on those tabs? We'll cover more in depth here soon. The sky's the limit, really, truly. YouTube has been around for so long that we're able to do just as many things with it as people do with TV, it seems. It does seem to have that high-end production quality to it, mindset-wise, to where you want to try and, if you do intersect things, make them connect logically, series-wise, thematically, and whatnot included. Once more, that power of 3 becomes key, okay? So if you can bleed in 3 of these different types effectively, it might be wise to do so. I tend to do a combination of the vlogging, workshops, advice talking head, and walkthroughs. Those kind of all go together for me. I kind of style them under my motto of wanting to help others, same with my sprints. But you want to make sure that your audience is very clear what your channel does for them. Remember, we said in the last week's episode that we need to focus on a problem being solved. Here's where you get to decide solutions to the problem as far as your method of content, your type of content, and even your main ideas that you planned last time a little bit coming into clearer focus. So always think power of 3. You could go and do more. I can attest it might slow your growth. However, you are allowed to do a little bit of butterfly soup. Sit there in caterpillar sandbox mode, grow, and see what works for you. Okay? You might later on down the road decide to completely unlist and hide videos that you did at the beginning of your channel. Most channels do that as they evolve and grow. Why? Why do you want to do that, though? It's highly important to kind of not just let your ideal audience know what your niche is through your content consistently, but also you need to see how it connects back to that vision and mission statement as a guide. Your vision and mission statement isn't quite matching your content. Which one needs to change? If your content has become vastly different, maybe it's easier to change the vision and the mission statement. You see what I mean? And that is part of rebranding and reflectively looking back at a specific increment to make decisions. Am I on track to where I need to be? And kind of be kind to yourself along that way with that reminder of this is where I am meant to be, and that's okay. However, you need to stop and think for a second, am I copying stuff from other people a little too much here, Jenna? Because a lot of things you're mentioning and suggesting between these last two classes, other people, not just on AuthorTube, but YouTube have kind of perfected. So what? Let them. You still have ideas and words that are worth bringing to the table for your ideal audience. It's why you write. It could also become a core integral part of why you want to do your social media. So you're not a plagiarist. You're not stealing ideas. If you feel like you are, credit the people around you, okay? And if you are not sure of an answer, tell people where to go look it up. There are times where I mention other YouTubers as examples so you can have the comparison in mind for that reason. I'm not trying to say I endorse them. I'm just trying to give you as many options to make this course resonate for maybe what you want to unhinge your channel into doing on a viral level for all of your passive income goodness. And of course, getting your books out there and so on. You are not a plagiarist. Make sure you cite your work when you are borrowing the ideas from others. But admit that you are indeed inspired, okay? That's the key here. Inspiration. And therefore, how does that feed back into the algorithm? The algorithm gods here on YouTube, jokingly, is what we sometimes call them, but in a way, it's right. The ideal audience is what drives that algorithm into picking up videos to go viral. So you need to start thinking, what can I feel inspired to do that feeds the algorithm in a way to help me reach my ideal viewer, audience, so on, a little bit quicker, so that way I am a more beneficial energy in my community early for their benefit and maybe for the benefit of my own mission statement, visions, and goals. So how do I go about organizing all this should logically therefore become another question to consider. You want your ideal audience to be able to click a couple of tabs and know exactly what to expect out of your content. Are you going to struggle nailing that down early? Yes. For some of you, that's true. Not all. For some of you, that's true. It is okay to spin your feet and spin your wheels and get muddy and dirty in the sandbox, figuring out what works best for you first, okay? That's just part of learning any new platform, in my opinion, for any kind of social media marketing. You're going to have some trial and error, but you want to minimize it early on to your benefit so you can do whatever you need to do in your mission, vision, or financially, if that's part of it, as part of passive income to build your business, right? So on the YouTube viewer end, and for the most part on our end, when we look at our own channels, you see a bunch of functions running across in tabs there. The home page is kind of self-explanatory. It's the general overview splash page that everyone can get to know you at a very, very, very succinct glance. You should take your time to cultivate what is and is not shown on that front page. Yes, it should change over time. Some people change it once a quarter, maybe to fit the seasons. Maybe if Vlogmas is coming up, you put last year's Vlogmas up on the front of your page for October and November, take it down and put the new one up in December. That is a pattern I, as a viewer of other non-AuthorTube channels, have seen other channels do, and I'm wondering, could I make it work here? It's worth a try. It really is truly worth a try. Your videos are normally things like this that are pre-recorded where you do not choose to use a third-party service such as StreamYard. I believe the other one is Restream, or if you have Mac, Ecamm, right? Or if you're using OBS or anything of that nature. Videos tend to be not uploaded through one of those third-party services. Shorts, on the other hand, we all know came hot and new on the scene in the last couple of years to kind of keep up with YouTube's biggest rivalry in the market right now, TikTok. YouTube is known for being in a sweet spot of like 7-ish minutes long to 20-ish minutes long. That's where most, not all, the average video tends to perform really well. So Shorts allows people to get those bite-sized TikTok-y and like episodes of things. Could you use things from your videos or your live streams or your podcasts to make shorts and vice versa? Yes, that would be the low maintenance way to do it. And you could then kind of use your shorts as like commercials to advertise segments of your longer shows. On the other hand, lives are kind of self explanatory. That's where you could house all of your live streams. Podcasts are rather new, to YouTube, kinda. A lot of people who are doing podcasts, which are on the rise again for like the first time in 5-10 years, are recording the audio and visual and putting just the audio on your typical podcast outlets, but they're doing the audio video together here on the YouTube end. I myself have incorporated doing this by reviving something, an old list I thought I would never touch again. So you could also, therefore, as functions and different tabs in YouTube come and goes, you might have to pivot to see if you could use, reuse, adapt to how the platform changes as well. Playlists, they're kind of self-explanatory. We went over them a little bit beforehand as well, mentioning how you can use them to really organize what you want to do, okay? People can do it around specific dates or ranges of time. There's Vlogmas, which is where you normally do different variations of recording throughout the Christmas holiday, end of the year months. You could do it themed around a specific month, quarter. A lot of us tend to do things here around National Novel Writing Month or NaNoWriMo/Camp NaNoWriMo events. You could do it about specific events in the community, either hosting as part of writing marathons, vlogging as part of that, perhaps. Themes, overarching main ideas like interviews. Maybe you have a playlist that's only about your travel excursions. For me, I have a list called Sitting Down with Soul Writer, which is loosely writerly related stuff, but writer life related stuff. Soul Bard Academy and my workshops were originally parts of that list that branched off from. So you could see where the intention of one thing might naturally grow into something else. You could also track your journey in phases. Maybe you want to organize things. For example, I have a couple of different playlists that are just about my series, The Myrna Annals. Maybe you want to track your book launches, your covers, and everything of that nature all in one place just for your book fans. The great thing behind something like that also then becomes you have a single link under which to share all of those videos when you have them in the future. Yes, you should start considering these things now because that could help further narrow down, or if you're too narrow, umbrella back out your content ideas, your mission statement, and your vision if you need to go back and edit them at any point specifically. Hold up. Soul Writer, I'm feeling really stuck. What should I do? Well, worst comes to worst, get really simple with the T table and make a pros cons list. No, you should not be going, oh, I have 52 pros and 75,000 cons. You should notice that are the cons a bunch of tiny things adding up? Are the pros a bunch of tiny things adding up? Are they big things? Are they weighty? And above all, you need to consider which elements work best for you. So maybe go with the one that has the most pros because it's what you're strongest in, but maybe you want to choose one thing that shows that journey and area of growth. Maybe it's a con list for you. You could take that moment to decide to be vulnerable to your ideal audience. Why? What do we say about writing fictional characters? Make them human, relatable. Relatable to the human experience. Even if you don't look like them or sound like them. It's how animation companies get bunnies, toasters, monsters from other worlds, and more to be your childhood best friend and, in a case of some anime, for life. Okay? You should be able to use that as a catalyst for designing things around your channel if you feel comfortable doing so. Speaking of being comfortable, do I have to show my face, Soul Writer? My goddess-sized physique and I would have to say, do you? For me, I do not have a lot of animation skill, so it was easier for me to just swallow my pride instead of learning a whole new art form and just put my face on camera. I also had dabbled in video editing way back in high school and college for fun. Like, if it came up that we needed it for a project, I did it. So this is kind of me going back to stuff I did way long before I ever was, like basically half my age ago, I might as well say. I'm pulling on likenesses and things that interest me, okay? You do not have to show your face. There are plenty of examples of channels around here where people use a graphic, or they just show slides, or they have an AI animated creature or a friend, or they know how to do the animations, right? VTubers are a thing. Here in AuthorTube, I can point to Andy and Doll. Go ahead and check out their channels in the description boxes below. They largely don't show their faces in most of their older and newer content, as far as I'm aware. Also, consider the fact that some larger channels, like even the TED Ed channels, I, as a teacher, loved using them in the classroom, and you don't normally see a physical human face. They're animated, and they're highly impactful. So if you have that as a skill and you would like to hone into it and become a faceless channel, you have a tool then at your disposal for your viewers as a goal later down the road. Some faceless YouTube channels will set a face reveal at, like, let's reach 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. You could opt to do that. Why? Hopefully by the time you get that number of subscribers, you are more comfortable with operating your channel and you've kind of started developing maybe the urge to stop being behind scenes only and stepping out onto the front of the stage. If that is what you feel you would like to do, you deserve to take that option at any point you do and don't decide to do so. So if you want to go ahead and join me with the workbook in the description box below, I'll go ahead through some of the prompts like we did last time. So ciao. Again, I did leave you some notes there at the top of the video lesson, note pages rather, and there are some additional pages at the end if you need them for any reason. Feel welcome to print if you are printing. Make extra. So building the bare bone basics, we're going to do some brainstorming. I want you to consider all of the YouTubers, AuthorTubers, BookTubers, and more that you watch, okay? Notice I started really, really general and brought it into niche for a reason. Some of the things that people are doing outside of our own niche could be inspiration for you to do something new here. Totally appropriate to try. Reflect back on your answers in chapter 1 to help you guide your ideas of, do I want to show my face? Who do I want to look like? Who could kind of not really be my mentor or my guru, but who could be part of my vision board of ideas, if you want to make that comparison here. So are there pros and cons to the functions and featured playlists to be on my channel theoretically? This is the time for you to sit down and start deciding, and you might need more pages. Up to you how you lay this out. I gave you a blank page of notes and room to do so for a reason. Start putting some of your excitements and some of your fears side by side, because that's really what pros and cons are. And sometimes you need to ask yourself, am I confusing something that's exciting with fear, because the feelings are very, very similar to the body physically, okay? They activate a lot of the same psychosomatic hormonal responses within the body, adrenaline wise, and so on. Are you confusing them? This is a good time for you to start sorting out those things. And hopefully by the time you get down to the next brainstorm, you're starting to realize maybe I do have a good solid channel idea in mind. A good solid channel idea in mind. So now you need to decide, do I want to show my god or goddess-like face on channel from the beginning, or is this a subscriber goal? You are not allowed to be rude to yourself. You are not allowed to be rude to yourself in this step, my friend. Please be kind to you. If you start writing a single negative thing, start over on a new page. Reprint the page. I kid you not. Don't bring negativity. I am literally sitting here, no makeup. I don't wear makeup. Why? I have really bad allergies to stuff, like dermatologically, skin-wise, because of autoimmune issues I have, okay? I'm allergic to mica powder, which is in most, not all, makeup products. So I just don't wear it. Why? Because it's not worth my face being broke out half the time. Do not let such things as I'm not pretty enough or handsome enough or skinny enough make you worry. You have nothing to worry about. Because at the end of the day, it's your authentic, true, excited, inspired self that really is what's going to make you the most relatable to your audience and attract them to you in the end. So we do have plenty of epic bonus pages for you to use as you see fit for positive things, not negative. So if you therefore would like to continue to go on this journey with me, first of all, thank you for being kind to yourself in the process. It is not an easy journey. You are valid in facing a lot of fears. I encourage you to embrace your authentic self instead of worrying about what you feel you lack, okay? Look at what you can offer, because you can offer amazing things. If you would like to support this class, please do check my Ko-fi link for a tip in the description box below. Also, there is a paid Soul Bard Academy course, Research Techniques and Methods for Fiction and Nonfiction Authors, coming soon through Teachable. If you would like to see more about that, again, in the description box below. Above all, take care of yourself. I know you're worth it. Bye. See you in the next episode.